All right, have a seat up on your lift. Cross your legs in the center of your shins. Take your feet beneath your knees. Ensure that your shoulders are over your hips, that you're not leaning forward, that you're not leaning back. Give yourself permission to drop your awareness into the body. Let the swirling thoughts in your mind begin to dissolve away as you bring your awareness into the body, into the here and now. Bringing your awareness to your sits bones, find the even balance of your sits bones. Find the lengthening of the inner groins, so lengthening from the upper inner thighs through the inner knees, but also from the upper inner thighs back towards the lower abdomen. So from the inner knees to the lower abdomen, from the lower abdomen to the inner knees, there's a lengthening and opening. Allow the flesh of the inner thighs to descend. And draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Again, doing so in such a way where you don't grip the inner legs. So the inner legs are lengthening, opening, the outer legs are compacting, contracting. Of course, pausing to observe the effects of those actions. How do those effects, how do those actions affect the experience of the torso, of the abdomen? How does it affect the experience of the breath? How does it affect the experience of the mind? Lengthen from your hips through your armpits, through the side ribs, through the torso. Ensure that the front bottom ribs draw towards the back body, that they don't protrude forward. So the front bottom ribs draw towards the back body. Keep the lengthening of the inner thighs. And then lengthen through the side ribs. Lengthen through the spine itself, stacking each vertebrae one by one on top of each other. Allow the shoulders to release down and away from the sides of your neck. Lengthen from your inner armpits to your inner elbows. And as the elbows draw down, bring your palms together, thumbs at your chest. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones to gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. And allow all of your face to release, to relax, to become still. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Lift your sternum towards the ceiling. Lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. And from the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. All right, let's start off in Adho Mukha Virasana, child's pose going forward. So you can come off of your lift. Some of you might need a lift for your head. So take your feet together, knees apart, and sit back on your heels first. And keep those sit bones on your heels and extend your arms forward. You can rest your head on a block, right? If it comfortably comes to the floor, that's fine. But if that floor is a little far, you have to take your sit bones up to get to the floor. You're better off with your head raised than your sits bones raised. Arms extended, elbows lifted. Hand is flat. Spread the fingers. See that each and every cell of your palm is pressing. Lift the elbows up and away from the mat. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Lengthen through the arm and rotate the upper arms out. So the forearm rotates in, the upper arm rotates out. The forearm rotates in as you press through the ball of the first finger and thumb. The upper arm rotates out. So the shoulders can move away from the ears. And there's a lengthening through the entire inner arm, which continues through the armpits and through the side ribs, moving your sit bones towards the wall behind you. Sometimes we think of the sit bones just going down. Now they do go down, but the further back your sit bones go, the further down they will go. So think back, not just down. Still lengthening through the inner groins, just as we were doing when we were sitting. The thigh bone itself moves down towards the floor. So it's the thigh bone moving from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. Skull resting completely. So the body's working, but the skull is surrendered. The face is surrendered. And can you observe now the effects of all those actions? We took all these little actions. Now the pose begins. Now the work begins of observing the current moment experience. How does the breath flow through your body while it is in this shape, this form, this asana? And then everybody come up onto your hands and knees. If you want to use blocks of the chair for downward facing dog, you're welcome to. Otherwise, shoulders over the wrists, knees slightly behind your hips. Press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. So again, there's a rotation of the inner of the forearm that rotates in as you press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. At the same time, rotate the upper arms out, but don't allow yourself to fall into the outer hand. Right? So the forearm and the upper arm are doing opposite things. Now press into the floor to lengthen through your inner arms. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs, reestablish your arms. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs as you rotate the upper arms out. Start with the pressing of the thighs back here. Inhale, lengthen through the arms. Exhale, come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press the thighs back. Take your chest towards your thighs. Take your sit bones towards the ceiling. Again, pressing down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. Rotate the upper arms out. Brent, see if you can take a slightly longer stance. So maybe walk your feet back a little bit. Now really press your thighs back. Don't just press the knees back. Don't just press the shins back. Bring your awareness up higher in the legs. The thigh bone moves from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. Press the thighs back. There's a lengthening from the tip of your first fingers all the way through the inner arms, armpits, side ribs. And those sit bones move up and back. And then extend from the center of the calf through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. But again, even in the heels, it's not just a downward action. Can you think back towards the wall behind you? So even lift your heels up a little bit. Everyone lift your heels up a little bit. And then as you take them down, move them not just down, but towards the wall behind you. Move them as close to the wall behind you as you possibly can. They'll go down as you do that, but think more back than down. And as you press the outer heels down, lift the outer hips up, right? From the outer knees to the outer hips. And then look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows, come into a forward bend, Uttanasana. Take your upper arms in line with your ears, hips over the heels. If your legs aren't straight, just take them wider apart. You can take them as wide as a sticky mat, that's fine. No toe gripping. Toes straight ahead. And again, press the thigh bones back. Don't just press the shin bone back. Don't just press the knee back, but bring your awareness higher up in the leg and press the thigh bone back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. The outer quadricep muscle is very strong. Compact the hips together. And at the same time, there's a lengthening from the inner knees through the inner groins. And as you move your hips up towards the ceiling, broaden across the lower back. And on each exhalation, take your chest towards your big toes. Let your arms go. Place your hands on the floor. Walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Lengthen through the inner arms, armpits, and side ribs. Please let your skull release. Now again, lift up your heels. Lift up your heels. Press your thighs back first. Press your thighs back first, and then bring your heels towards the wall behind you as you take them down towards the floor. So the thighs are pressing back. The heels are seeking the wall behind you as your heels come down towards the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. And as you press the outer heels down, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. Take your abdomen now, roll it into your tailbone, then press your thighs back even more. Get that extra length on the spine and side ribs. And now observe. All that was preparation for the pose. And then look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows the opposite way you did the first time. Again, if your legs aren't straight, just take them a little wider apart, no big deal. But do press the thigh bones back. You want your kneecaps facing forward. So, for many of us, the general instruction is turn the thighs in, press the thighs back. But you do have to double check what your leg is doing so that those kneecaps are actually facing forward. Because for me, I discovered that one thigh was already turned in. So one thigh I turn in, one thigh I turn out. And then both thighs I have to press back. So you have to see what it is for you. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Of course, ensuring that you're balanced evenly on your feet. And then moving your hips up towards the ceiling. Broaden across the lower back. And on each exhalation, take your chest towards your big toes. Abdomen is soft here, neither moving up towards the spine nor pushing against the waistband. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Take your torso parallel to the floor, hands slightly above your hips. Extend your arms back. Keep pressing your thighs back. Extend the chest forward. Now keep those three actions, thighs back, arms back, chest forward, as you slowly inhale and come up into Tadasana. And then take your feet together in Tadasana. If you prefer feet hip distance apart, that's fine. You can do hip distance apart. You can face the front, or if you're on the side and it's easier to see me, face any way you want. We've become very relaxed here. We used to be very rigid. Balance evenly on the feet. That's the hardest part of the pose. Balance evenly on the feet. Press the thigh bones back. Notice if you're just pressing your knees back. Do not just press the knees or shin bones back. In fact, you can take the shin bones forward as you press the thighs back. Shin bones forward, thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Lengthen from the inner knees through the lower abdomen. Lengthen through the side ribs. Have space in your armpits now as you lengthen through the arms. Space in your armpits. Drop the shoulders away from the sides of your neck. Fingers are a part of the pose. Tadasana, soft face, soft jaw. Taking a moment to experience the breath while your body is in this shape, this form, this asana. Take your arms halfway up. Drop your shoulders. Extend through the arms. From your armpits, rotate your arms up. Drop the shoulders. Now notice how your ribs went forward, your front bottom ribs. Take your front bottom ribs towards the back body. From the midline, from the center of the sternum, extend outward. From between the shoulder blades, extend outward. And from your armpits, push your arms up. The hands follow, but the action's from the armpits, not the hands. The front bottom ribs tend to push forward again. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Balance evenly on the feet. Lift from your outer knees to outer hips. Keep lengthening through the side ribs, straight elbows. Turn the triceps towards the nose. So take the outer arms and move them, rotate them towards your nose. That's it. And then as your arms reach for the ceiling, take your shoulders towards the floor. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Tadasana. Thighs back. Lift up, lengthen through the side ribs, shoulders down. One more time, arms out to the side. Drop the shoulders. Are you holding your arms up from your neck, shoulders, or from your armpits? Observe first. And then if you need to, adjust and hold your arms up from your armpits, not your neck, shoulders. They will get tired more quickly, but your neck will hurt less. So your choice. Rotate the arms from your armpits. Rotate the arms until the palms face up. Watch those ribs. The ribs tend to come forward to bring the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Lengthen out from the midline. And then from the armpits, push the arms up. The shoulders go down as the arms go up. Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands. Turn the triceps towards the nose. Front bottom ribs back, allowing you to lengthen through the side ribs more. Arms up as the shoulders come down. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Watch those ribs. As soon as you extend the arms, the ribs come forward, and sometimes we tend to throw the hips and thighs forward too. So thigh bones back, shoulders over your hips, hips over the heels, front bottom ribs towards the back body. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Inhale, take the arms up. Upper arms in line with your ears to the best of your ability today. Bounce evenly on the 2 feet. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen through the side ribs. Extend your wrist towards the ceiling as you hug your upper arms towards your ears. And extend your wrist towards the ceiling as you move your shoulders towards the floor. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Interlace your fingers together the opposite way. Take the opposite first finger on top. Turn your palms out. Watch those ribs. Watch the thighs. So thighs back, ribs in. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Now, even as you extend through the wrist, the upper arm is still drawing back towards the shoulder. So move the upper arm bone into the shoulder socket. So you're extending out through the wrist, but move the shoulder bone into the shoulder socket. Inhale, come up. So still balancing evenly on the feet, still thighs pressing back, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips and lengthening through the side ribs. Extend the wrist towards the ceiling, hug your upper arms towards your ears. But now as the wrist move towards the ceiling, draw the shoulder bone back into the shoulder socket. And release the arms out to the sides, come down. Let's take hold of a strap. Take the strap wide over your head. And you might need a little more room behind you, Brent, so just play with it. Your arms are going to come down behind you. So if you need to come forward, come forward. Draw your arms behind you. So you have to take your arms as far apart as they need to be so you don't need to bend your elbows, and then come forward. Opening, lubricating the shoulders. So back, forward, without bending the elbows, ideally, or as best you can. That's it, George. Trying not to move the torso and head. So not throwing the torso forward when the arms go back and backward when the arms go forward, but keeping the shoulders over the hips over the heels, but finding that lubrication and noticing how the shoulders are different. One might go smoothly and the other one gets caught in seeking an evenness as best you can get them today. And then on the next time going back, pause at that spot for you where it feels most open. Whatever that is, it'll be a little different for everybody. Open those armpits, open the armpit chest. And without moving the hands themselves, try and pull the strap apart. And then let the strap fall behind you. And then up and over. And then put down the strap. And then interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Thighs back, ribs in. So extend through the wrists. Draw your shoulder bones into the shoulder sockets. Inhale, come up. And for some of you, we just did this. Some of you, it's going to feel like a completely different pose just because we opened up the shoulders a little bit more. We lubricated them and opened them. So still balance evenly on the feet. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen through the side ribs. Extend your wrist towards the ceiling as you hug your upper arms towards your ears and move the shoulder bones into the shoulder sockets. Watch the ribs coming forward. Front bottom ribs back. Release your arms out to the sides. Come down. Interlace your fingers together the opposite way. Turn your palms out. Thighs back, ribs into the body. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Extend through the wrists. Move the shoulder bone into the shoulder socket. Maintain that as you take your arms up. Watch the ribs. So thighs back, ribs in. Shoulders still remain over the hips. Extend your wrist towards the ceiling as you hug your upper arms towards your ears. Straight elbows. And draw the shoulder bones into the shoulder sockets at the same time. Soft face, soft jaw. Your face can't do the work. Release your arms out to the sides. Come down. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Come onto your hands and knees. Again, if you're using blocks or a chair, take that. Spread the fingers wide, first finger pointing forward. Rotate the forearm in, press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs as you rotate the upper arms out. Push into the floor to lengthen through the arms. Toes under, straighten the legs. Pushing into the floor, lengthen through the inner arms. Inhale, come into the pose. Thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. Rotate the upper arms out. And again, this may feel like a completely different pose now because we've done a little opening in the shoulders. Take the shoulder bones away from you, the outer shoulder bones away from your neck, away from your ears. Move the shoulder blades towards your waist. Keep pressing the thighs back. Again, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Let the head go. Lengthening from the inner knees through the inner groins. Extend the outer heel towards the floor as you lift the outer hips up. And as you move your shoulder blades towards your waist, that space between the shoulders and the neck, that moves up towards your waist too. Move that whole area up. Look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your chest forward, arms back, thighs back. And then inhale, come on up. Tadasana. Feet together. Take your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Cross your forearms, touch your palms together. Garudasana arms. Take your upper arms parallel to the floor. Take your forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Try and take your thumb back next to your finger. So instead of on the other side, it goes next. No. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Front ribs still towards the back body. Broaden across the top of the back. Move the outer shoulder bones away from each other. Spread the shoulder blades away from each other. And observe the breath. How does it flow in this form? And release. Left elbow on top of right elbow. Cross the forearms. Touch the palms together. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of the hand faces forward. Front bottom ribs towards the back body. Broaden across the top of the back. Move the shoulder blades away from each other. The shoulders still move down. Don't take the shoulders towards your ears. They're still down. They're away from each other. And release, Tadasana. We're going to do the same pose, but we're going to get some movement to the arm. It's Garudasana, eagle pose. So it's like we're going to fly the arms out. We'll swing them out, and then we'll swing them back in. All right? So swing the arms out, get some momentum, and swing right on top of left. If you got it reversed, don't worry about it. Just a second time switch. And sometimes when you swing the arms like that, you just get an extra millimeter or two closer into each other. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrists so the knife edge of the hand faces forward. Broaden across that top of the back. And now when we switch sides, we're going to swing the arms back out and then swing them back in with the opposite arm on top. So swing the arms out and then swing them back in. Watch those ribs in. Front ribs in, upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrists so the knife edge of the hand faces forward. Broaden across the top of the back. Move those shoulder blades away from each other. Shoulders down. And release. Tadasana. Check in. This Tadasana is going to feel different. Done a lot of shoulder work. Press the thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen through the side ribs. Have space in your armpits as you extend through your arms. Soft face, soft jaw. Use this time, this pose as a study. Study yourself in the pose. What are you receiving from the pose? What does the pose want from you? It's a two-way relationship. And release. Turn to face the side of your mat. Extend your arms forward. Have your feet hip distance apart. Arms forward, arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Watch those ribs. Did you notice the ribs come forward? So thighs back, ribs in. Now hold your elbows. We're coming into a forward bend. Uttanasana. Toes forward, Bob. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, come forward. Turn the thighs in, press the thighs back, kneecaps forward. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. As you lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. But as you compact the hips together, can you release everything between? So release across the sacral band, release across the lower back, keep lifting through the legs. No toe gripping. That's cheating. And on each exhalation, take your chest towards your big toes. Let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Is this the same as the first time you did it? What's different? What's changed? Or what is changing? Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. Rotate the upper arms out, straight arms. Push into the floor. Push the floor away from you. Push the floor away from you. That will help move your thighs further back. And then press your thighs back and try and lift up and off of your shoulders and wrists. So you push into the floor with your hands, you pull back with your thighs and find that lengthening through the inner arms, armpits, and side ribs. Please let your skull completely release. Your head dangles like a mango. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back even more. Extend your outer heels down as you lift your outer hips up. Straight arms, straight legs. And look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your chest forward. Keep the thighs back, arms back, chest forward. Inhale, come all the way up. And then feet together, Tadasana. We teach a Trikonasana. So everyone stand so you are the wide way on the mat, whichever direction you want to go. Balance evenly on the feet. We'll jump or step our feet apart. You can jump or step depending on your knees, your spine, fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs, jump or step wide. Take your feet beneath your hands as your arms are extended. Drop your shoulders. Are you holding your arms up from your armpits or your shoulders? Hold them from your armpits. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. So on the right leg, the whole thigh turns out. Press the back heel, Turn the front thigh out, lift from your outer knees to outer hips and compact your hips together. Make sure your front knee is in line with the top of your foot. And keep pressing the back heel. Inhale, exhale, come down. Utthita Trikonasana. Keep pressing the outer rim of the back heel. Try taking your hand on the outside of your shin. Makes it a little bit more open. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift, really lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, especially that front leg. Move your femur bone into the hip socket. Don't worry about how far down you go, but keep that torso nice and open. Rotate the torso and extend those arms away from each other. Don't tuck the chin, so head back. Head is in line with your buttocks, which is in line with your heel. That's it. That's it. Is it Laura or Lori? Laura. Okay. I know Laura's, so I get them confused. Reach with your top arm, pull yourself up and out, parallel your feet, drop your shoulders, hold your arms up from your armpits, turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. Press through the outer rim of the back heel, but that thigh has to turn from the inside out so your knee is in line with the top of your foot. Keep pressing the outer rim of the back heel. Now lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, come down. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Rotate that torso. Imagine you are leaning on an imaginary wall behind you. Extend those arms away from each other. Reach with your top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. One more time. Fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. So take your hands on your hips for a moment. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. So there's a balance of the back thigh going back and the front thigh turning out. So take the back thigh back towards the wall behind you, not just the knee, but the whole thigh, and from the hip press into the outer rim of the back heel. You shouldn't be able to grip your toes even if you try. That's how far back that thigh goes. But then what happens when we pay so much attention to that back leg is that the front thigh turns in. So turn that front thigh out. So from the top of the thigh, there's a turn. So you're not just, the knee moves, but you're not turning the knee. You're turning the thigh until the knee is in line with the top of the foot. And some of you will notice as you did that, the back thigh went forward. So I have to take this back thigh back again and press into the heel. And then there goes the front leg. And you have to turn the front thigh out. And there goes the back leg. And then at some point you have to go, okay, what if I try and do both at the same time? What if I can send messages from my brain to both legs at the same time and take that back thigh back and the front thigh out at the same time? The tailbone comes forward and there's an opening in this pelvic area. Now extend the arms. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. That's going to help you. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Take your top hand on your hip. Because as soon as we come down, as soon as we get the torso involved, we lose some of that work we just spent all that time doing on the legs. So take the back thigh, move it back, and from the outer hip, press into the outer heel. Turn the front thigh out. And notice the back and forth. Notice as you turn the front thigh out how the back thigh comes forward. Notice how as you press the back thigh back, the front thigh turns in. And now, can you take the awareness of your brain, spread them to both of your legs simultaneously, and take the back thigh back, turn the front thigh out? The tailbone does move forward as you do that. And then lean back against that imaginary wall behind you. The head is against that imaginary wall as well. And then extend the arm up. Observe your pose. And then reach to that top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, and take your hands on your hips. Take a breath. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. So same thing. You have to take that back thigh back, and from the hip, press into the outer rim of the heel. And then notice how the front thigh turns in. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. And if you notice, the back thigh then went forward, so take the back thigh back. And turn the front thigh out. And at some point you want to go, can I do both at the same time? And if today isn't the day to do both at the same time, that's fine. Go back and forth, get deeper and deeper. Totally fine. But maybe today is the day that the brain can send signals to both limbs and take the back thigh back and turn the front thigh out at the same time. The tailbone comes forward. The truth is, if you do that, the tailbone automatically comes forward. It kind of has to. Take the arms out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale. Exhale. Come down. Take the top arm on your hip. Top hand on your hip. And then see what stayed and see what didn't. Take the back thigh back. Just watch your back knee, Laura. The back knee. So take the shin bone slightly forward. Even though you're pressing the thigh back, take the shin bone towards this wall so that you're not jamming the shin bone back into the knee. Yeah, that's a straight leg. And more than that, it begins to go beyond straight, which won't hurt you today, but you keep doing that over the years, it can build up. So the back thigh goes back. Turn the front thigh out. And then at some point, see if you can do them at the same time. Take the back thigh back and turn the front thigh out. Allow the tailbone to come forward and lean back on your imaginary wall. The head goes back against that wall too. The whole torso goes back against that wall, both shoulder blades. And yes, there's a rotation of the torso. And then extend the arm out. Finish the pose and observe. Now the pose begins. And reach with your top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Lift up through the side ribs. Ribs in, front ribs back. Extend through the arms. Take a couple of blocks and put them to the rear of your mat. We'll set up for Utthita Parshva Konasana. Yes, you use the chair, George. And it's going to go slightly behind George. That's it. Be standing in front of your blocks, not in line with them, because when you separate your feet, you don't want to trip on them. From Tadasana, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step your feet wide. Drop your shoulders, extend through the arms. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Now I'm going to take you out of the pose for a moment. Take this block and move it right next to your heel and then come back up. So the back thigh goes back and the front thigh turns out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Extend the arms. We're going to bend the front leg now. Inhale, exhale, bend the front leg, knee over the ankle. Do not let your knee go past your ankle. Inhale, exhale, hand goes down on the block. Left arm goes up, rotate the arm so the palm faces your ear, and extend that arm over your ear. Keep pressing into the back heel, and extend through that whole left side of your body, palm faces down. Reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Other side, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. This back thigh goes back. The front thigh turns from the inside out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Actually, yeah, take that block next to your foot. So again, back thigh back, watch that back knee. Make sure the front foot, the toes point straight forward so that, there you go. So the back thigh back, front thigh out, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg, knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Inhale, exhale, hand on the block, right arm goes up. Rotate that arm, reach for the ceiling, and then extend that arm over your ear. Keep pressing into the back heel. Extend through that whole right side of the body. Lean back on that imaginary wall still. And then reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out, parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. Adjust your block so you don't trip on them. We'll do it one more time. At least. We'll see where we go. Maybe 3, maybe 10 more times. Who knows? Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Left foot in, right leg out. So again, begin to see if you can spread the awareness to both legs at the same time. So the back thigh goes back as you turn the front thigh out. Lift the outer from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, exhale, hand on the block, move the block to your heel, and then take that top hand on your hip again. So let's really work the legs, just as we did in triangle pose. The front leg is bent, it's a little different, but the ideas are the same. Take that back thigh back. Now, when you take that back thigh back, the front knee tends to move forward. So hug that front knee into the elbow and take the back thigh back at the same time. The front hip, buttock, moves forward. So back thigh back, front knee back, front hip, buttock forward. The tailbone also moves forward, just like you did in triangle pose. Now rotate the torso and lean back on that imaginary wall. And then extend the arm up. Rotate the arm. Now really press into the back heel and extend over your ear. Now the pose begins. Observe your pose. Reach through that arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, over to the other side, right foot in, left leg out. So don't wait till you're down to begin to get the understanding. Can you take the back thigh back and turn the front thigh out at the same time? Yes, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, exhale, hand on the block, move the block to your heel, and then take your top hand on your hip. So we start off doing the legs separately. The back thigh goes back from the hip, press into the outer rim of the back heel. Then we have to adjust the front leg, knee back, buttock forward. But can you begin to spread the awareness so that you do both legs simultaneously? Take the back thigh back and the front knee back and the front buttock forward. Can you do those at the same time? Notice the effect that those actions have on your torso. There is still a lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, and the tailbone does move forward. Now lean back, rotate the torso, lean back against that imaginary wall. And then finish the form by extending the arm out, rotating the arm, and extending that arm over your ear. But the thigh, back thigh still moving back, front knee still moving back, pelvic area still nice and open. And now the pose begins. Observe. Bob, if you come onto your fingertips, you'll be able to rotate the torso a little bit more. That's it. Don't just rotate the shoulders, rotate the ribs. And reaching through that arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Take the blocks off of your mat. Turn to face the side of your mat. Take your feet hip distance apart. They can be wider. We're going into a forward bend first. If you want wider legs, take them wider. Arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did last time. If you don't remember, no big deal. We don't take points off. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. Keep your upper arms in line with your ears. Lengthen from your inner knees to your inner groins. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. As you lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And as you compact the hips together, broaden across the sacral band, broaden across the lower back. And on each exhalation, take your chest towards your big toes. Let your skull release. Allow this to be some recovery here. And let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Push into the hands to press the thighs back and bring more weight towards the heels. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs as you rotate the arms out, upper arms out. And as you press your thighs back, find that lengthening from the tip of your first finger all the way through to your sits bones. Lengthen from the inner knees to the inner groins. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back. And as you extend your outer heels, not just down towards the floor, but the heels go back, back and down, outer heels down, outer hips up. And now the pose begins. Observe your pose. Observe the experience of the breath through this pose. If you press through your hands more, does that change the experience of the breath? If you press through your heels more, does that change the experience of the breath? Look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your chest forward. Inhale, come up. Tadasana. Bounce evenly on the feet, thigh bones back. This is a good place, Laura, to work the shins and the knees. So if you take your shin bones forward and press your thighs back at the same time, which I understand makes no sense. In 3 months, it'll make sense. I mean that sincerely. But if you can begin to bring your awareness there, you take your shin bones forward and your thighs back at the same time, and that begins to adjust the knees. And everyone, lift from your outer knees to your outer hips, lengthen from the inner knees through the lower abdomen, lifting up through the side ribs, extend through the arms. Because you can train it in this pose, and then it will lean over into the other poses. Is your experience in Tadasana now the same as it was before? What's different? What is changing? And release. Everyone, take hold of your strap and lie back on the floor. Start with your legs bent. You have your strap, so your feet are on the floor, legs are bent. Bend your right leg into your chest, put the strap around your foot where the heel meets the arch, and straighten your leg. No death grips on the strap, please. Relax your shoulders. The outer shoulder bones go down. Relax the neck, shoulders, relax the jaw, relax your face, relax your eyes. And press your thigh bone back. Not just the knee, not just the shin bone, but the thigh bone. Lengthen through the inner leg, from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, through the ball of the big toe. The ball of the big toe is the peak of the pose. And draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Now maintain that awareness of the leg, drag the left heel on the floor, straighten the left leg. So 2 straight legs now. The left thigh turns in and the left thigh bone presses down. Again, not just the knee or the shin, but the thigh. So now, even though the legs are in different directions, they are doing different things, but can you mirror some of the actions? Both thighs press back. So the right thigh presses back, left thigh down, but they're both front of the leg. The femur bone moves from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. Lengthen through the inner legs, from the inner thighs, through the inner knees, through the inner ankles, through the balls of the big toes. And draw, soften your shoulders and hands, no death grips. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Move your right outer hip away from your right shoulder. And then lengthen the inner legs more. Soft jaw, soft throat. Imagine you're enjoying this. Imagine this is your favorite pose in the world. And then bend your legs and switch legs. Take this, bend your left leg into your chest. Take the strap where the heel meets the arch. Straighten your left leg. Soft hands, soft shoulders. Press the thigh bone back. Lengthen from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, pushing through the ball of the big toe. Draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Maintain that awareness of the leg. Drag your right heel on the floor, straighten your right leg, turn the right thigh in. And then both thighs pressing back. Lengthening both inner legs. Drawing from both outer knees to outer hips. And take that left outer hip away from your shoulder. Soft hands, soft throat, soft jaw, soft neck, shoulders. The legs are working. Don't take all the tension from your legs, from the hamstrings, right? We're opening the hamstrings, we're opening the backs of the knees. Don't take all that and just move it to your shoulders. That's not what we want. Open the legs. Take your right leg into the strap with your left leg. And then take your left leg out of the strap. So your right leg is in the strap, the left leg is next to your right leg, but outside of the strap. Soften your hands and shoulders. Lengthen through the inner legs, draw the outer from the outer knees to the outer hips, thighs back. Now with the straight left leg, from your upper inner thigh, take your left leg down to the floor. Leg stays straight. And then when the leg comes down, press the thighs back again, lengthen the inner legs. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, that right hip moving away from your shoulder. Now with the straight left leg, take it back up next to your right leg. And then you'll have to bend it to get it inside the straps. That's fine. So both legs inside the strap for a moment, and then take the right leg outside of the strap, but both legs still next to each other. So both legs up, left leg in the strap, right leg outside of the strap. Lengthen the inner legs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, thighs, of course, pressing back. From the upper inner right thigh, straight leg, take your right leg down to the floor. Left thigh still presses back as you take the right leg down. And then when the leg comes down, both thighs pressing back, lengthening both inner legs, drawing from your outer knees to your outer hips. Left outer hip, move it away from your left shoulder. And then with the straight right leg, take it back up. Then you'll have to bend it to get your legs together inside the strap. Thighs back, lengthen through the legs, draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Allow the abdomen to descend towards the spine. And then bend your legs into your chest. Put your feet on the floor. Put the strap to the side. Extend your arms overhead. Some of you might need to move some of your stuff that's there. Extend the arms overhead, bend your legs into your chest. Now, some of you we're taking the legs back up. Some of you are going to want to go back to the pose we just did with your legs in the strap. That's fine. So you take your strap back. Lengthen through the arms, legs into your chest, flex the toes, iron your abdomen to the spine, iron your lower back to the floor, and straighten your legs 90 degrees. Extend through your arms, extend through your legs. Abdomen down, lower back down. Abdomen down, lower back down. So this is 90 degrees. Now take your leg down to 60 degrees. Easier to straighten your legs here. 60 degrees. Really lengthen through the inner legs, lengthen through the inner arms. Straighten the legs. And then back up to 90. And because I'm in a good mood, back down to 60. Back up to 90. Lengthen through the legs, lengthen through the arms, abdomen down. And then bend your legs. Feet on the floor. Let your arms go. Release and relax. Take your arms out to the side like a T. Brent, you might need to get some space away from that wall, so you need to pull away from the wall. That's fine. Bend your legs into your chest. We're going to do a gentle twist here. Arms out to the sides like a T, so the hands are in line with your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. Inhale, exhale. Take your knees towards your right elbow. Keep the left shoulder down. So press into the right shoulder to keep the left shoulder down. Turn your abdomen to the left as your knees go to the right. And take your left outer hip away from your shoulder. Soft face, soft jaw. Allow yourself to breathe. Observing how the breath flows when your body is in this form, this shape, this asana. Without forcing anything. You're not forcing the breath, you're simply observing. And then pushing with the bottom leg, coming up to center. Take your feet on the floor, square your hips and square your shoulders. And bend your legs back into your chest. Extend through those right fingertips. Inhale. On your exhalation, keep the thighs together. Take your knees towards your left elbow. Press into the right shoulder, press into the left shoulder. Keep the right shoulder blade down. Turn your abdomen to the right as the knees go to the left. And take the right outer hip away from your right shoulder. Pushing with the lower leg. Inhale, come up. Take your feet on the floor, square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. One last time, give yourself a hug here. So hold around your shins or behind your knees and give yourself a hug. This is a beautiful opportunity to say something kind to yourself. The purpose of yoga is to still the fluctuations of the mind so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Can you take this opportunity now to bathe in your own true splendor? Take your hands on the face of your knees now. On your inhalation, let the legs move away from you, just 2-3 inches. On your exhalation, let the thighs draw towards you. Inhaling, Thighs moving away. Exhaling, thighs moving towards you. Just massaging the abdomen, massaging the lower back. Take a few breaths like this at the pace of your breath. On your next inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let your legs go. Let them fall away from each other. Find a comfortable place for your arms out to the sides, space in your armpits. Let go. Our work is done. Although now you are in the hardest pose of our yoga practice. Because this pose demands a letting go, a releasing, a surrendering. And it is much easier for many of us to ask our bodies to do this, to do that, to turn this way, to turn that way, than it is to surrender and to let go. Let the whole body become heavy, as if it's being absorbed by the Mother Earth below you. Let the skull and all the facial features completely release and relax, let go. Let your eyes rest into your cheekbones. Allow your tongue to rest on your lower palate. Allow your throat to be very soft. Release and relax your ears, the outer ears, also the inner ears, and draw your inner ears inward and begin to listen to your breath from the inside of your body. You don't need to force any breaths. You don't even need to breathe. The breath will breathe you. As you listen to the breath from the inside, can you become a witness for the breath that is breathing you right now? Shavasana. Begin slowly coming out of your Shavasana. Take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Place your hands onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right, be on your right side for just a moment, rest your ear into your upper arm. Whenever you feel ready, place your top hand on the floor in front of your heart to turn your torso towards the floor, push to come up chest first, head last. And come up to sitting. Bring your palms together, thumbs at your chest. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up. Taking a moment to observe your practice, what's different, what's changed. And remember to take your practice outside of this room, into the rest of your day, your evening, into all of your interactions with other people, with kindness and with compassion. Kindness and compassion for others. Most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Then you let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you.